Hello. Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Matt Shad. And this is another episode of the Zoot Report, Sunroof Edition. Let's go. What is up, y'all? It is 75 degrees in Northeast Ohio. It has rained last night. We had a nice little thunderstorm, cooled everything down. I really don't know what's going to happen today, like weather-wise. Don't really care. I am headed to the range. The outdoor range. I never got to finish my BZO. Got halfway there. And so it's giving me a week to sit here and think about it. Wishing I could go ahead and just fucking, step out into the wilderness and figure this shit out, right? Get myself a good BZO. But no. Oh, I gotta go this way? Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. I think I got it. Yeah, I got this. What's up, little brother? What's up, little brother? Boom. I want me to go this way. Alright. So what we're going to talk about today? What's up? Well, see if I can remember this. Little Hutch's live stream asked for topic of discussion. Sometimes I get stuck, and I need some muse, some inspiration, some guidance, and stand by. The hypocrisy of let's see if I can word this correctly. I don't know if I can word this correctly. The hypocrisy rhetoric, because it is rhetoric, of the subversives. I like that. So everybody pretty much knows what the fuck's going on, right? They know. All right, this is some type of subversive, tyrannical. This is how tyranny happens, right? You vote your way into communism. You allow the left-leaning liberals and actually radicals. I'm not really mad at the left-leaning liberals that much. I mean, a libertarian per se, but I mean, still, everything's been hijacked by the subversives, by the subs, right? And they literally have their own language. They have their own language. They have their own study material. Saul Alinsky's Roof for Radicals. There's many others. Subversion 101. And so they have their own language. They have their own rhetoric. They have their own arguing points, and they literally go online and teach each other this shit. So hey, if whatever they call us, whatever they call it, whatever they call us, that's the thing. They call us all kinds of names, while they in turn are being that name that they're calling us, like a fascist. That's like the famous one, right? Oh, you're a fascist. Do you even know what that means? And the thing is, they get taught differently. The key words, right? The key words and phrases. Well, you're a colonizer. No, I'm not. To colonize something, I need to have a flag, an army. I need to claim this land for Scotland. Hey, yes, use my best Sean Connery voice. Yes, I claim this land for Scotland. Hey, that's a colonizer. There's no such thing as colonizers anymore. There's sovereign nations everywhere with a lot of rich history, lots of history. So you don't get to go back and be specific. You know, you have to look at a country's history as a whole. All the defeats, all the victories, all the bad things, and all the good things. And that's your evolution. You know? It's just the way it is. It teaches you a lot. It really teaches you a lot. But what they'll do is they'll pick that because they need idiots. They need useful idiots, subversive, useful idiots that have been manipulated, brainwashed, and given a script to say and do things. Because first they say it, then they do it. You know, they call us all this, and the words that they use incite emotion. They elicit a response from not just you. For the person they're attacking, that is humiliation 101, right? They go for the humiliation, and for everyone else, for everyone else that hears them and is with them, is a type of virtual signaling and justification. You know, it's like when you're in the back of the bus, and you know you've got little Timmy that's you know poking you in the head, poking you in the ear, you know, whatever. Crazy veteran. That's what he says. Anyway, we got some panhandlers. This guy's got a costume he wears, camouflage and stuff. Yeah, right. Oh, you're not in your boots today. Not in the boots today. Okay. All right, buddy. Good luck. I don't know. There's a lot of programs for you if you're a veteran. But anyway, what was I saying? Before I was distracted by this guy. They have a script, and they say things to virtual signal, to shock and humiliate the person or the groups that they're trying to, you know, gain dominance over. And then it also gives credence to what they're saying and doing. He's a Nazi, fascist, racist. Yeah, he's gotta go. He's a Trump lover. I gotta get this butt plug adjusted. Jesus Christ. And yes, they have their own culture. I mean, it's the most fucked up culture you ever fucking heard about in your life. I mean, they have turned debauchery into a culture. Which, what happens is the useful idiots that are running around with, you know, multicolored hair and, you know, piercings in their face that you just want to throw magnets at, right? And butt plugs, right? They're the useful idiots to get after the conquest, which will never happen, by the way. I mean, you know, communism is always competing with, you know, with capitalism, with this constitutional republic, any government really. They want to take it and turn it communist. So, this way, yeah, okay. They get shot. History, they get shot. There are no gay people, openly gay people in China. China is the bastion, the shining city on the hill. Literally, that's part of their ideology, their imagery too. shining city on the hill of communism. I mean, seriously. If you are a divergent, if you are a undesirable, you get snatched and grabbed in the middle of the night and erased. You live out your days in a fucking salt mine or a lithium mine, and then you die, and nobody hears about you. Same thing with Iran. Same thing with most tyrannical communist countries. And of course, hey, we're going to talk about the tyrannical, Muslim caliphates. Same thing. They don't tolerate that shit. Yet they promote it and weaponize it. They encourage it as a weapon in the state they're trying to subvert. So, I don't know, what do they call it? I call it hypocrisy. Saying one thing, doing another. So, I mean, it's whatever. It's idiocracy at its finest. And the more stupider people that you find, they believe this shit. It's like a religion. It is taught as a religion. And there might be some religious connotations in there as well, because they've hijacked and kidnapped those religions as well. They'll start to continuously make more religions. Chrislam. What? What is Chrislam? Look it up. What is I forget the name of it, but the Universal Coalition for Humanity or some shit. I forget. They make some fucking crazy names, but it's all the same. It all serves the same purpose. It's to grab idiots and put them in a cult and to make them soldiers for the subversion. That's it. That is it. And it's emotional based. When you're stupid, your emotions run high, and you act on those emotions. And they just keep baiting and baiting and rage baiting. And now that we have this massive social media, it's easy to do. It's easy to find the disenfranchised, the losers of the world, who refuse to take responsibility for their own success and point the finger at everybody else. Oh, I can't get ahead because everybody racist, everybody sexist, everybody transphobic, everybody furry phobic, everybody map phobic. Well, yeah, you're fucking weird. You're a fucking weirdo. And this is coming from an ex-weirdo. I know these things. They offend people's sensibilities on purpose. It's part of the religion, and it's part of the fanaticism. And they somehow move up in rank or some shit when they do this. This is me? Okay. Ah, you're a good commie. It's an oxymoron. It is the most ironic thing you ever see in your life. gays for Palestine. There's no gay people in Palestine, by the way. They get thrown off of roofs. They get taken to tall buildings, and they get one lesson on how to fly. That's it. That's all they get. One lesson. You get one lesson. So, they get lied to. And they're so, what is the term, that phrase? Low information voters. Yeah, they vote into this shit, and they're low information. They have no, the only thing they know is what the shamans of the communist shamans have taught them. I'm sorry, no, shamans are smarter. The communist cult leaders, the subversive cult leaders that have indoctrinated them into this culture, this society of debauchery, degradation, and destruction, they brainwashed them. Literally, they're brainwashed. I mean, it's hard to have a conversation with them. I love the conversations that Charlie Kirk had. Boom, name drop. He was epic. He was epic. Damn. I mean, he literally went into the pit, to the viper's pit, to the den of iniquities, to their strongholds, their colleges, their campuses. He set up shop and put up microphones and said, let's have a discussion. And destroyed them every time. Destroyed their talking points. Because they have the same talking points. There is no intellect there. None. There's no discernment. There's no critical thinking. They are taught a way to combat everything that is right and just and real. Objective, subjective, relativism. Those who believe in relativism, all right, are subjective, live in a subjective reality. And there's no way that they can win, because guess what? Reality is a objective thing. Objective reality. So when these folks get online, they love to troll. I mean, if you haven't been to Hutch's live streams early in the morning and stuff, it is a troll fest. And we judge them on their trollingness. Some are actually pretty good, but majority of them suck ass. I mean, literally, they confess that they do. Yeah, don't put your mouth on it. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's a reason why most societies with longevity have a tendency to move towards conservatism, because it works, because it makes sense. Capitalism makes sense. Freedom makes sense. And that's the problem that this communist ideology has always had, because they have to destroy the individual for true communism to work. The individual has to be destroyed. and the individual has to adopt the state as a religion. It has to adopt the state as the gospel. Their identification is a comrade. And it sounds pretty cool nowadays, hey comrade, your Antifa's talking about, hey, what's up comrade? Hey comrade. And they've it's so ironic, they're not comrades. They're people that have the same sexual deviancies, the same idiocracies, idiocrat thinking. Yeah, there you go. Huh? Some wordsmithing here. It just they're literally marching forward off the cliff, and they don't realize it. They can't realize it. They don't understand it, because history has been bastardized for them. They have been retaught a new history, and of course that's what they want to do with us: erase history. Same thing that the Romans did. This is nothing new. This has been going on for thousands of years. You just call it communism now. The Romans did it. I mean, everybody's done it. They come in, they erase your history. They prevent you from practicing your culture. Vikings happened to them too, right? Christianity took over them. They were forbidden from doing their rituals and their festivals, and until eventually, and they had to swear an oath and allegiance and fealty to the New World Order. That just so happened to be the conqueror's form of Christianity. So the same thing, especially the Crusades, the same thing is happening today. Everything gets rebranded. This great evil, it gets rebranded, renamed. Some little things here are tweaked here and there to make it palatable for the idiots, for the useful idiots. So that they can now turn this into a national movement. Which is very sad, by the way. I mean, like it's a sad movement. Really, that's all y'all got? But it helps to recruit. Young people love revolution. Young people love to rebel. It's just the way it is. We have that that angst about us, right? I mean, I know, I rebelled too. Somewhere along the way, though, I found some kind of wisdom. I don't know how the fuck that happened. I think, well, I like to say that wisdom comes from doing stupid shit and surviving, seeing the error of your ways. Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And this movement, this talking out of both sides of their mouths, accusing people of being what they are, racist and fascist, because that's exactly what they're fighting for. The Communist Manifesto calls for. They're literally fighting for the exact same things that they're fighting against. They've been blinded. They don't know the truth. They don't know history. Therefore, they do not see the future and what their future holds for their efforts if they win. I doubt they'll win. But this is definitely a worldwide event. Worldwide. And every communist and tyrannical country is in on it. It's an insidious type of warfare. Like I said, it goes back thousands of years. Inanna, Nana, Ishtar, the Anunnaki, the parade of debauchery. And then the peasants are subjugated, subverted, enslaved, everything taken away from them, especially their identity and their culture. Everything erased, a clean slate, so they can now be members, comrades of society that sees them as a number, a humanity that has to be suppressed for the whole system to work. These lefties or woke, the subversives, they're not going to be around to see what happens. They're gonna cheer if they win, which I doubt. They're going to cheer and yay, we won, yay, we won. And some soldier in a uniform, with hundreds of thousands of other soldiers in uniforms, all looking the same, are going to take them around back and shoot them in the head and put them in a shallow grave. That's what's going to happen. Because individuality is not tolerated in communism, in tyranny. Even those in power. Because that's exactly what happens. When they say there's diversity, okay. Equity, you know what equity means? The DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Of course, that's the talking points and weaponization of the destruction. It celebrates individuality. It promotes relativism. But they sneak in that equality, that equity. I'm sorry, equity. Not equality, equity. You will all be, because that's the tenets of communism. You will all be the same. You will all receive the same. You will all be expected to do the same, to look the same, to speak the same. There is no room for individuality. There is no room for discourse. There's none. Everything will be controlled. Yet the elites of said tyrannical regime get to do what they want within reason. Now, if there's a power struggle, there's ways and means to take someone out so you can take their position, right? Everybody else is going to be eating Soylent Green, while the elites will be eating steak, yeah, yummy, steak and pig and whatever they want, drinking beer and wine. The people of the communist oppressed regime will not be able to leave. They will not be able to travel anywhere. The elites, they get to go where they want. They get to jet set all over the world. They, don't turn it Albuquerque. Damn. got some kind of blue-haired, you know, once again, there's that whole, the punk movement, right? That punk movement, that alternative lifestyle that was very prevalent in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and kind of started to die out in the 90s, replaced by grunge and all that shit. Anyway, yeah, it was. That's been hijacked. Oh, can I do it? Can I do it? Oh, yeah. Let's go. Rawr. Oh. I did it. Boom. And now that's like the virtual signaling of the movement. Living in that alternative reality, that alternative lifestyle where everyone is shocking, everyone is tattooed and pierced, everybody's a absolute freak. Nobody knows who they are. They believe that they're getting ready for a war, for a battle, for something that's coming, a big conflict. You know, the 80s, it was like, hey, you know, we're in this Cold War, this threat of nuclear annihilation, which was a real threat, by the way. So why not just wear clothes that you're going to have for the rest of your life, right? Let's go ahead and party up, and you know, let's carry on. Let's party it up. Let's roam the streets, be an urban bushcrafter, if you will. Let's because all this is going to be destroyed. Society is going to be destroyed. The life as we know it is going to be destroyed. So let's just live like there's no tomorrow. Like, yeah, why not? You know, squat here, party there. You know, it was a lot. It was and the music reflected it. The clothes reflected it. The music were a big thing of it, right? But it also interjected that debauchery, the anarchy, if you will, the anarchistic movement of, you know, this. Some realizations came to mind during this movement. Well, we need anarchy. What is actual anarchy? Anarchy, well, for the punk movement, it was, let's fucking destroy everything. Right? Nothing matters in this society, so let's just destroy everything. But actually, anarchy means the absence of a governing power. Sounds really cool. But then you start to question. You get older, you start to hear people talk. The philosophy goes, well, shit, that's not going to work. We're going to destroy everything. I mean, it works if you're going to die in a ball of fire. Okay, I give you that. But when the nuclear holocaust never came, was that realization that, well, I guess we got to be smart here. I guess I better get a job. You know, I'd like to have a car. I'm tired of walking around. You know, I'd like to have new clothes. I've had these for 2 decades now. I got over my drug addiction. I went to rehab, or I kicked it myself. I got off this whole dependency on drugs, alcohol, debauchery. I cured my chlamydia. I guess I better, I met this girl. She really wants to have kids. I think it'd be cool to be a dad. Be the coolest dad ever. So yeah, so the punk movement, it grew up. It grew up. Folks figured that shit out. They're like, well, this don't work. Man, it is extremely humid. God. It's gonna be a soggy day at the range. Same thing with the hippies. Same thing with, just about everybody. They came to their senses. Now those that were radicalized, like the Weathermen, they became professors in your colleges. They became philanthropists. They aligned themselves with rich people that had the same vision. And these old hippies had that playbook still. Now, I'm not knocking the hippie movement. I am. There's good things and bad things that, from my observation of the hippie movement, free love kind of shit. I mean, that's cool and all, and it helped to bring out some interesting evolutions into our society. It did. It evolved our society. All these movements, they always evolve our society. And damn it, I gotta do that again. I think I'm on the right track though. Yeah. Now I'm going by memory. But it's the same talking points. It's the same argument. It's the same idiocracy that gets preached. The same manipulation of a fraternity of philosophers that have been the foundation for a lot of Western society and free societies throughout history. So they have to manipulate the history, they have to manipulate the philosophy to be able to get these stupid people to sign on to this shit and say the stupidest fucking things. For one, it's shocking and humiliating. Most people don't suffer fools. When somebody says something stupid, you usually get that screw face. Like, what the fuck this motherfucker saying? What the fuck? Read the room kind of shit. Like, walked in the wrong bar. That's shocking. That's humiliating. And then, of course, that gets everybody's attention. So now they can speak their rhetoric and try to justify their actions. We're back in the day, and it's starting to come back now. Somebody says some stupid shit. What'd he say? Punch the asses. No, never mind. Punch to the face. Right? I mean, we're a little bit more subtle now. We're not as violent because we evolved. The conservative, the capitalistic, the freedom-loving people of the world, we spend a lot of time and effort in our societal evolution, to be done with racism, to instill merit into people, morals and ethics, and make fun of you if you're different. That's it. I mean, we make fun of you. You're like, okay, all right, what's up? What's up, fudge packer? Yeah, right? And they look at me and go, what's up, breeder? Right? Whatever. It was through that kind of dialogue that we had with each other. We didn't get butthurt. And if somebody came along and, I don't say the word, but, the N word with the A, what's up, my, right? How you doing? And I had black friends, and we all talked to talk to each other like that. And if somebody came walking up in our midst while we're hanging out, smoking cigarettes, smoking a joint, and why are you being racist? We all would have whooped that ass. It's we got to. You done violated, bro. Or Karen, you done violated. You getting slapped. Why you doing this? All right, I've got to check my my navigations, make sure I'm on the right track. It's storming. I don't know if this is gonna be a good idea. All right, I'm on the right track. Okay, I knew it. Anyway, now, and Stalin said it best, give me one generation and I'll take over the country. Well, they've had like 2 or 3 generations. And they've started to make people more sensitive. I remember when we first heard about sensitivity training, in the 90s, we're like, what the fuck is this? And it was like, yeah, it's some Subaru driver in HR. It's being adopted as policy corporation wide throughout the company. We all have to do it. It's a requirement. I'm like, damn, bro. What? We can't throw racist jokes at each other no more? That makes no damn sense. I can't say gay jokes anymore. That sucks. This is no fun. And we got creative. We called each other creative names. It was... Nobody got butthurt over it. And if they did get butthurt over it, it was more funny. It was funnier. And if somebody got in a fight, like, that's enough. I can't take no more. Like, hey, calm down. Hey, come on. We're just joking here. Yeah, it's raining. I picked this day to go to the range. Oh well, it's a covered range. There were no virtue police. There were no sensitivity police. I mean, we heard about shit like that in like California or whatever. We're like, yeah, that won't happen here. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look at... It's happened here. People have went to jail for saying mean shit. He was mean to me. He called me a maggot. With the F on it. A maggot. Oh, that's a hate crime. No, it's not a hate crime. And that's part of it. That's part of that double speak. Right? I'm trying to get back on track here. That's part of that rhetoric, that double speak, where the the idiocrats, the useful idiots, create this bed of eggshells that everyone must walk upon. And they're afraid to say anything. Everyone is afraid to say anything because these eggshells, everyone is getting accused of something. And so it forces the weak-minded, you know, your crash out Karen, Kathy's, Karens, whatever, your Karens, it forces people to change side. To go, well, you know, you shouldn't be racist. Matter of fact, all white people racist. I'm white, and I feel racist. I'm trying to cleanse my racism. You know, and that's where they get these allies. Are you an ally? And so there's different levels of that shit. Free Palestine, gays for Palestine. Oh my God! No. This is something as old as time. Subversion. It is. You change the culture of the community, of the nation, and you require people to adopt the doctrine before one shot is even fired. Subversion is a brilliant way to win a war, to fight a war. I mean, y'all call it fifth generation warfare, you know, whatever. It allows for all that disruptiveness, demoralization, destabilization, crisis, normalization, or winning. What's up, Hawk? So it slowly but surely indoctrinates the people of a nation and creates this unspoken rule where everybody must watch what they say and watch what they do and give their 5 minutes of rage. Yeah, big brother, right? Yeah, join the cause. Join the cause, comrade. Let us destroy these fascists so that we can implement our own fascist government. And then get shot and thrown in a shallow grave later. And they believe, like, that's the rhetoric and the two-sided, the hypocrisy. They believe it wholeheartedly. And they believe that they will win in this fight. Eventually, if they keep it up, they will. And it's all about winning the hearts and minds of the people. You know, with their rhetoric, with their hypocrisy rhetoric. Because that's exactly what it is. It's hypocrisy. They know not what they do. Yeah, you need that. What's the kind of the ghost of communist past, present, and future needs to visit them middle of the night. That's what needs to happen. But once again, they're encouraged to live in their own bubble, to stay with their own kind, right? Their own butt plug wearing, butt plug inserting, you know, subversive, blue hairs, green hairs, facial tattoos, you know, piercings. once again, they've hijacked that whole Mad Max thing, you know, that whole punk aesthetic. And for us old folks that really were in that punk movement, you know, it's like, what the fuck? Do y'all not? Y'all have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. That'll make no damn sense. That's part of it. They believe the lie so much, and even if they don't believe the lie, their hypocritic rhetoric, then they know it still serves that purpose of creating those eggshells. You know, the 385 genders. How dare you misgender me? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize. You've already lost. You've played into their game. You have now. Oh, okay. You have now joined the subversion. You know, are you a Native American? Are you Indian? Where does it end? Are you a Zizzer? Are you Ishi? Are you a Shem? Are you what? What the fuck? I gotta guess, and I gotta guess correctly. And if I don't get it right, I failed. I failed the test, and I'm not a good human being. And there's guilt. Guilt has been. Now I feel guilt. Now I feel guilty for hurting someone's feelings. Because they lose their fucking mind. They lose their fucking mind. They're like, yeah, how dare you call me that? How dare you address me and misgender me? And then of course the insults go. You racist, you fascist, you colonizer, you all these you transphobic, you gay-phobic, you furry-phobic, you phobic, you. And then that's how they indoctrinate the unindoctrinated. So now now a 60-year-old man is like, well, okay, I was part of the hippie movement, and that was a thing. Maybe this is the new hippie movement, and okay, I guess I'll put a dress on. Call me Peggy. And people realize the power that it has over people. And power is addicting and corrupting. And the more this movement gains momentum, the more people will crave this power. You must call me a Shem. You must address me as Zer. I am Zer. Are you from the land of Zod? I mean, what? What the fuck? And if you don't, then, you know, if you stand your ground, then the subverts are encouraged to dox you, to belittle you, to insult you, to create a movement against you, to hunt you down, to do mean things to you, to eventually, it's the emergence of the Khmer Rouge, where you had literally thousands of Maoists that were running around just beating up and killing old people because they were the voice of reason and they stood their ground. Mind you, getting the guns out of the way is also number one on their book. they can't. So it'll never happen. There are ways, I guess. I mean, have a big old fucking war, you know, knock down the population. So now you don't have to, you know, go house to house for 330 million people. You can just go to house to house for only 100 million. And half of that 100 million to help the other 100 million. The other half will join in. A large majority will always be recruited. Especially if it's, because we want to go along to get along, and some people want to entertain these notions, like, well, you know, maybe we should be sensitive to their needs. Allow me to be sensitive and to adopt this new way of thinking. Wow, that's amazing. Maple syrup. All right. So it seems like they are speaking crazy. They are. They're crazy. Absolutely crazy. Their debauchery is a mental illness, and it's promoted. It's they want to be part of that. It's so ironic. They want to be individuals. They want to stand out. They want to rebel against the system. Yet they're fighting for a system that doesn't allow for individuality. It doesn't allow for their way of life. It is hypocrisy, ironic hypocrisy at its finest. Yet it's sold as a revolutionary, righteous thing. Having that, what do they call it? Righteous indignation. Just because you're righteous in your cause doesn't mean you're right. You know what I mean? True fascism, what we've seen coming out of, you know, Nazi Germany, that lots of people were indoctrinated into it, or forced into it, or coerced into it. Those who did not play the game were systematically taken out, destroyed. I mean, it is ironic hypocrisy. It boggles the mind for those of us who have critical thinking, for those of us that know the truth. But that's exactly what it does, is it slaps you in the face and forces you to think a different way and to accept their mental illness, to accept their debauchery, and to ultimately accept their victory. Like playing into their rhetoric, which makes no sense to a rational person, to a person that lives in rationality and objective world. It makes no sense. You can't make sense of it. But once you try to put yourself in their shoes, which is what we try to do, to understand the person, we try to put ourselves in their shoes, understand their point of view, and that's where the trick is. That's where the trap is. You've now been trapped. You have now been. You're now in danger of being indoctrinated. You're now in danger of. You are now in danger. Come on, lady. You're now in danger of pushing the movement. fucking truck. Let's go. Your ass. There you go, fat ass. All right, I'm back. I had to stop at the store and use the bathroom. And lo and behold, they had fresh pizza, so I got me a slice of pizza. I had to eat it. So, yeah, I didn't want to do that on camera. Kind of hard to talk with your mouth full. I would have to rename this life. Rename everything. You know? The talk with your mouth full edition. Good luck trying to translate. Let's go, water girl. All right. Boom, here we go. I am almost to the range. It is a constant, yeah, I'm in the order country. So, where was I? I don't know. The talking points of the subverts, the subvert warriors, is specifically designed to get us to see it their way. It's specifically designed for us to be outraged. They want to elicit that response. Because if you are outraged, then it's true that you must be what they are saying you are, i.e. fascist, racist, colonizer, whatever. Yet their outrage and their rhetoric and outrage and demeanor proves that they are the exact thing that they are telling you you are. Is it gaslighting? Is that what it's called? Gaslighting? Yeah. Gaslighting. I don't understand that term. I'm gonna look up the history of gaslighting. I call it hypocrisy. Ironic hypocrisy. You know what? It's so shocking. The whole gays for Palestine. It makes no sense. They do not tolerate that kind of debauchery in their country. You cannot freely, even though you think you're some type of ally, you cannot freely go, if you're a man in a dress, you cannot freely walk the streets of Palestine while wearing a free Palestine dress, t-shirt, whatever. You can have all that shit on you, virtue signaling that you are an ally. They will throw you off the roof. They will give you free flying lessons. They will. Free, non-assisted flying lessons. And you only get one class. That's it. So yeah, folks. It's been an interesting topic. I could have went so much more if I thought about it more. I like the off-the-cuff shit, though. I like that off-the-cuff. Let's go. Let's ad-lib the fuck out of this. Put me on the spot. I dare you. So how do you combat it? Look at how Charlie Kirk did it. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask critical thinking questions. Ask questions that will make them think. Right? Even though most of them are not. Most of them are going to answer your questions. They're going to just go right back into their script of, insults and all that, and try to elicit some kind of violence upon you. But if given half the chance to make them think, right? Get to them in the same kind of, get into their minds like that, like the communist cult leader did. Make them think. Oh. Where is it? No, that's not it. It's up ahead. Okay. I made it. Then you can start that whole wheel of Ouroboros turning in their heads while they try to make sense of what you just said. It's very easy to trip them up because they don't understand. They're not intellectual. They're not intellectuals. Matter of fact, the intellectuals that taught them are the wrong type of intellectual, right? They understand their rhetoric. They understand the effect, the cause and effect that they're having by their rhetoric, by their talking points, in shaping the minds of future comrades. Useful idiot. They're creating. They know the communist cult leaders know how to create the useful idiot. Where's this place? And yes, they know exactly what they're saying. And they're manipulating them. They know how they're manipulating them. The manipulated doesn't understand that. So to take them out of their brainwashing, you have to literally warp their fragile little minds, like Cartman said. And make them think, oh, wait a minute. Maybe what I'm doing is a bad idea. Am I the baddie? Yeah, you're the baddie. But what about the emotional tug of my heart? You know, the oppressed Palestinians and the children and the disenfranchised. Isn't that wrong? Yes, but no. The best way to combat all that is to practice your own freedom. It really is. It's to practice your own freedom. And to make those respect what you say. And respect what they say. But understand that they're trying to. Yes, I have arrived. Oh. But understand that they are in turn trying to use talking points and rhetorics and convoluted ways of thinking that is weaponized against you. So I have arrived. Thank you all for hanging out with me on this wonderful day. Zoot Report, Sunroof Edition. I'm going to go hit the range now. Y'all have an excellent Sunday. Hope this made sense. Thank you all very, very much. Skull. Greetings from the Erie Coast again. I just can't leave this shit alone. Let's go. Yeah, that's right. The ironic rhetoric, the ironic hypocrisy rhetoric of the Subversive. I love the title. Love the title. Part 2. Right? Yes. Yes, welcome to another episode of the Zoot Report. Yay. 2 in one day. Because I'm driving. like an hour and a half between fucking my house and the range. Had a good time. I was smart enough to bring binoculars with me so I didn't have to go down range every fucking time. Yeah. So, oh man, what does this boil down to? That rhetoric of the left, of the subversive, right? Yo, what you doing, bro? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, just chilling in the middle of the fucking road, right? I'm looking for something. Anyway, they use tactics. The well-known tactics are insulting rhetoric, insulting, accusing rhetoric. They have to insult and accuse everyone, get them on eggshells, and when you attack them, they can claim victimhood. So that's it too, right? Oh my, I am more of a victim than you are. My mommy and daddy raped me. I didn't get enough loving. I'm a furry transgender, so I'm a furry Samoan transgender. So everybody hates me, right? I'm a POC. I'm a this. I'm a that, and it's just, who cares? Nobody cares, right? I mean, what nobody cares. Work harder. Nobody cares. Be a better human. We all go through shit. We all have shit happen in our lives, right? And the goal of getting past that type of trauma is to get out of that victimhood, right? Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about with the lady empowerment stuff. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You ladies are learning self-defense, how to shoot, how to not be afraid, right? After something traumatic. And y'all excel. Maybe y'all should be teaching some of these subversives. But it's victim politics. And yes, politics definitely plays a role. It's all about that victim mentality. And it picks a side. They put themselves in a box. It's a very weird shaped box, by the way. Very obtuse corners and roundness and all kinds of weird shit. And they put us in a box. We're in a big box, by the way. A big box. Right? The ones to be conquered. And the more and more that they carry on with their rhetoric, the more they empower and embolden themselves to do violence. Make no mistake, this is violence. This is a war. This is a war. And they have chosen violence more than anything else because they do not have an intelligent argument. There's nothing intelligent about what they do. The only intelligent thing that they do is that they make everybody feel bad for them. Or they incite that emotional response from them. Intelligent by design, because their teachers have showed them the way. Their teachers, their cult leaders have taught them how to brainwash, how to be brainwashed, and then how to brainwash the populace. And justify their actions. As convoluted as it is, and it is very convoluted, because they do not make an intelligent argument. If they could make an intelligent argument, then maybe there'd be communism, but it has never worked. It is in the history of tyranny. whatever the form of communist is, communist, socialist, whatever, it does not work. It always fails. Freedom and capitalism, dangerous freedom. And yes, even corrupt capitalism. It works. It actually works. Welcome to America. Welcome to the free world. You should try to participate sometime. But these idiots, they're too stupid to understand the words that are coming out of their mouth. They have been absolute. What is an indoctrination? The indoctrination, it starts with acceptance. It starts with inclusion, right? Oh, you're diversified, you're inclusion. And it lies. It lies and says that everybody is included except the enemy. Who are the enemy? Me and you. Freedom-loving Americans, freedom-loving people of the world. People that have rational thought, critical thinking. Right? So they have to, they cannot appeal to our intellect because we see through their bullshit. So they have to play to our emotions. They have to. And plays to their emotions. And the more in their hierarchy, the way they look at it, those who are more disenfranchised and oppressed have more justification for violence. They want to incite violence. They want to incite mass hysteria. They want to incite absolute chaos and disorder because they offer the alternative of, well, see, they can offer the argument up of, see, look how freedom and capitalism failed. So now you got it. Now you're forced to do communism. Now you're forced to do socialism. Socialism leads to communism, by the way. You know, you think, what is socialism? Socialist, everybody is taken care of. Everybody has that inclusion. But let's try to get back to my thought stream there. The whole idea of inclusion, including everybody. What they do is they label everybody in their group. Oh, they put them in a box, and they put them in another box, and then they put them in another box inside of a box. And by the time you know it, their individuality is gone. They are now indoctrinated. We're very accepting of you gays. We're very accepting of you gay furries. We're very accepting of you gay furry maps. We're very accepting of you gay furry map incels. I know, right? They just keep putting you in a box. Gay furry. We're very accepting of POC. POC. If you don't know what POC is, people of color. And the more color you are, you know, and not American. So yeah, it's boom, gay, furry, map, POC, you know, immigrant, right? Asylum seeker, whatever they want to call themselves. You know, refugees, whatever. From a disenfranchised third world country. Boom, box inside of a box, inside of a box, inside of a box. And make no mistake about it, the replacement migration is to serve one thing, and that's destabilization. It creates destabilization. That's it. And yeah, it is the ironic hypocrisy rhetoric, the ironic hypocrisy plan, because all indigenous people of the land, of the nation, doesn't matter your color, it's all about, borders, language, and culture, right? They want to change all that. So if you're an American, born and raised here, right, you are a racist colonizer that should be eradicated. And it's taught over and over and over again how evil we are. I mean, I think we're doing a great job here on this world, but hey, I digress. And it's ironic that they are fighting for their absolute destruction. For our, we fought racism. We fought fascism. We fought communism. We fought tyrannical regimes, worldwide tyrannical regimes, and won. We created a society that other societies model their societies after. We allowed for innovations and designs and philosophical higher learning, higher thinking. But because we let our guard slip, and we let the First Amendment slip. But hey, they have the right to say what they want. Okay. And we were more tolerant of their rights, their First Amendment rights, of everyone's First Amendment rights. We forgot, yeah, I have to allow, I choose to allow, we choose to allow people to have free will and free thought in their speech. But we forgot that we also have the right. It's not, we're not condoning what they're saying. We don't have to condone what they say. They have the right to say it, but I have a right to say, fuck you. That's wrong. And not enough people did that. Not enough people were adamant in their opinion, and of course, yes, social media engineering complex, social engineering complex, social media silence those voices. They silenced the voices in the PTA meetings when they came for our kids. They literally arrested grandma. They arrested mom and dad for speaking their mind in a public forum, in a place that their taxpayer dollars paid for, and the salaries of those in charge. Those in charge, those trusted with our children and their learning. Yet they turn themselves into indoctrination camps. They introduce critical race theory. They introduce gentrification, gender studies. There's only two genders, by the way. If you haven't noticed. Sure, there's exceptions to the rule. Whatever. But even then, they conform. Natural order of things. got to see this for what it is. It is a war. It is a war. We've had countries that have been in and out of communism and tyrannical regimes for centuries. And during their times of freedom, they gave us a message because they seen what was going on in this country, in the world. They said, number one, do not give up your guns. Number two, eradicate the subversive. Get rid of them. However you choose to do that. Here we're a little more subtle. We don't go around hunting people down and lynch mobbing and shit like that. That would play into their hands. Look how violent the right is. See how violent and racist the right. They must be eradicated. It would justify their amping up their actions, and the government as well, because the government is also subversive. That's one of the bad things of having a representative government, where discourse and arguments are allowed. That's why it takes so long to do shit, because cooler heads prevail, more intelligent heads prevail. After a long, lengthy discussion and argument over and over and over again. Because the idiot proves himself eventually. The intentions are shown eventually. Enough questions are asked. You're like, there it is. There's the subversive. There it is. Yeah, fuck you. So even though we have so much corruption in our country, in our political, world, in every little branch, whatever, we the people still decide. We are the decider. We make shit happen. We decide which direction this country goes. And yeah, we get a lot. We have to fight politicians. We got to fight corporations. We got to fight foreign powers and entities. And we've got to fight dumbasses in our country, useful idiots that wish to make this into something devilish and communist and tyrannical. But there comes a time when their rhetoric, I'm trying to stay on course here, their rhetoric absolutely becomes identifiable. Like, no shit, that's stupid. Yep, heard that before. You're an idiot, aren't you? Yep. Yep, you're wearing a butt plug now, aren't you? Yep. As much as I hate Howard Stern, I did love it, the old Howard Stern. Plot, 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 plot. I mean, just fucking brilliant. Anyway. I think that's why there is a push for more moral standards, going back to the old ways. But the social engineering complex, it works its magic. It goes, oh, you want that kind of strictness. Well, here's Sharia law for you. Haha. Yeah. Every communist country, the goal of communism is total world subjugation. And they will ally with other tyrannical regimes, aka the radical Muslim and fundamentalists. I mean, that's what Hitler did. That's what Rommel did when he went to Africa and the Middle East. It's what we did too. It's what the British did. We were fighting a multi-tier war, multifaceted war, and they were gaining allies on every side. The whole jihadi thing has been around for centuries. And it appeals to those idiots. What the fuck? Why are you doing 35 and a 65 and a 70? Bro. Alright. Whatever. And through their rhetoric, through their talking points, their ideology, which is, victimhood. Those who have been more victimized have more clout and have more right to violence. I mean, it's idiocracy at its finest. And if allowed to, it's a parasite. It is a societal parasite that wishes to become bigger and more monstrous as it grows. It is the Fedra, the all-consuming. Because they have nothing. What does China have? What innovations do they have? They have nothing. They have innovated nothing. They have stolen everything. They have faked everything. They're obsessed. They have to show the world, oh, we are better. We are better than the whole world. Look, we have AI robot. No, you don't. You got nothing. Oh, look at our beautiful infrastructure. Tofu construction. It's all fake. It's all a lie. And they rob, steal, and kill. And then they don't allow capitalism. Yet they engage in worldwide capitalism. It's ironic. It's hypocrisy at its finest. I smell gunpowder. Right off the bat, they have to prove their superiority. And that's what you're dealing with these subversives. They try to prove their superiority over you. Immediately. Sure, they might be coy about it. Start asking you questions. Loaded questions. You like Trump? How do you feel about Palestine? How do you feel about the genocide? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? You're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Something West, 40 West. And if you don't align with their views, you will never align with their views, unless you are indoctrinated. Then the attacks come. Then the attacks come. And literally, they're attacks. At first, they start off with words. Then they get more emotionally charged. They get everybody else emotionally charged. Then the violence happens. And you don't know why. Because you said, no, I don't believe there's a genocide going on. I believe they're terrorists. Ah! colonizer, racist, fascist. You know, the biggest group, what was it? Antifa, which means anti-fascist. What the fuck? They literally engage in fascist tactics. I mean, the Nazis did it with the brown shirts. The brown shirts were these big muscle-bound men that were gay. And they ran around mob hitting everybody so that they could create this dystopian social nightmare and change and subvert society. You know, you forget, Germany had very strong Christian values. They give us kind of the version of Christmas that we see today. That and Macy's, you know. But greatest marketing ploy in the world. Successful. Oh, I see where this thing is taking me. I don't like it. Damn, what? I could do. No, that didn't work. It'll be a longer road trip than I thought. Damn it. Thank you, Google bitch. You suck. So anyway, oh well, whatever. Settle in. Here we go. Their only talking points are how evil you are, and it's done with insults, seemingly intelligible political speak, you know, which obviously it involves victimhood, guilt tripping, right? Because they want to label you, even though they're all about inclusion, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Skull. Their inquisition of you is to expose your evil, your capitalist evils, your free world thinking evils, so that they can now justify insults and injury. And if you do not answer correctly, which you never will, you will never win. So I got to go back and look at some more Charlie Kirk, man. He was a master. He brought so many young people back from this subversion. He did. It was beautiful. Because they cannot make an intelligible argument. So they have to be trained on how to insult and how to confuse and how to guilt trip, how to gaslight. You know, it's ironic and it's hypocrisy. And they're idiots. Now, if they learn their lessons that they learn from their communist socialist cult leaders, then they will understand how to deal with you, how to garner more support for their cause, But when they're faced with the fundamental facts, their only course of action is to resort back to insults. Is to resort back to insults and blaming, name calling, and victimhood, which enrages and creates this empathetic and sympathetic reaction. Yeah, this thing's got me going. What the fuck's this thing? I don't know, bro. What? It wants me to go to Cleveland. That's bullshit. Guided, misdirection, so that you feel some type of way, and they are justified in their actions and eradicating. Because now they've got everybody on board, all their group. And violence is now authorized. And if you give them violence, they are justified in giving you back violence. They want us to whoop that ass. They want us to fight back. It's likened to junior high. It really is. Where you've got that kid that's just calling you names. He's got his group of friends there, and they're just calling you every name in the book, making fun of you, maybe throwing shit at you, but not really touching you. They're spitting on you, whatever. They're just, and then eventually you snap. Say, that's it. I've had enough. Fuck you, dude. You punch him in the nose. Now you get pummeled by all his friends because now it's justified. Man, I can't park there. Oh my God. Cadillac on fire. Burned out husk of a car. Wait a minute. They provoked you into a fight, and you took the bait because they called you every name in the book, everything. They insulted you, they dishonored you, they disrespected you with their words. It got you in that emotional state where you can make a mistake. Yep, the emotional state makes mistakes. And now violence is authorized against you. Because now they lie. I mean, it's the facts don't matter. In their ideology, facts don't matter. It's a means to an end. That's all it is. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Right? That is it. That is it. And it wins against the rationale. It combats the intelligence of a person speaking, because it goes straight to violence. Once we recognize that, I mean, it's pointless to argue with that. Now, if you have that certain person in a different, away from their friends, away from their handlers, then you can start to appeal to their humanity. Now you can start to appeal to the intellect of the person. You don't have these reinforcing people around them that are telling them, hey, you can't say that. Hey, you can't say that. Now it's common ground, and the fight's on your terms, And you can literally make them think now. You start to convince them that everything they're doing is wrong. Make them question their belief system. Yeah, I used to do it to Christians all the time. But these subversives are trained in their rhetoric, and they back each other up. There's always somebody more well-read, quote-unquote well-read, into the book of Saul Alinsky or whatever, you know. And they correct them. They correct the speaker, or they just interject, you know. But a majority of what you see is victimhood, you know, with these Karens, these gender weirdos, right? Those who really are pushing their debauchery onto you. And I would love to have. Well, let me backtrack. You see what they do. They look at what boxes they have, and that's what they put in the public eye. And then what they have for the public eye is different from what they have in their internal eye. So they need someone that appeals to the people. So that it's got to be more palatable. Then they take the most. Then they ramp that up. Then they turn that up. You know, it depends on the message, right? If they're trying to appeal to the people, it's going to be some type of lesbian hawk news correspondent. Yeah, in a pantsuit, talking about circle back and shit. But if they really want to get a message across, and it's a humiliating message, then they get that old white guy that's wearing a butt plug and a dress, makeup, you know, talking about he needs to go to a women's bathroom, do women's sports so he can be close to your sons and daughters, because he's a map too. That's the shocking part. That's the humiliating part. So if they want to shock and humiliate you, they use that person, that box, that tranny pock freak, whatever, you know. The parade of debauchery, the parade master of ceremonies, master of debauchery ceremonies. They pull out the Dionysus, like they did in the Paris Olympics, and yeah, they encourage the occultism. They encourage it. And they encourage creating their own little cult groups and terrorist groups. You know, you got the John Brown Club, you got the Zizians, you got, you know, there's, and they, because decentralization is how you do this asymmetrical guerrilla warfare. They have to be careful, because if the sleeping giant is awakened, aka the majority rise up and eradicate things, which we've done before. No, we're not having this subversion. You're out of here. And it'll be house to house, whatever. You know that question, what kind of American are you? We've got our own splinter cells. Majority of our groups and splinter cells, though, they're very conservative, Christian, God-fearing patriots and Americans that have steady jobs and families that provide for their families. They understand the family unit and they keep it going. And they train others in shooting and tactics. You know, we got roughly about 18 million veterans in this country. A lot of them have families, sons and daughters. So, they got beads, bullets, and band-aids. That's what they got. The American flag flying. They fought for their country. They did amazing things. Amazing things. Unsung war heroes that just came back home and want to be left alone, start their families. So the subversive has to be careful not to excite those people, to awaken that sleeping giant. What's the saying? The most dangerous man is a man that just won't be left alone. Why couldn't you just leave me alone? Why'd you have to poke the bear? That's how communism gets their hold, and it's with the rhetoric. More people, especially young people, they can subvert and get them into this ideology and get them literally word for word, play by play, recite the rhetoric that they learn. The more ground they can cover, the more their movement can grow, little by little. And fuck what you think. It is not a majority. The majority of people are conservative and Christian and just want to be left alone. They have families. But the subversive has to destroy the family unit. That's why they encourage the whole gay and transgender thing, because it stops people breeding. Because the mothers and fathers that are sensible know full well how to raise their children, and this type of thinking and rhetoric is dangerous. It's dangerous to their kids. It's dangerous to the livelihood of their kids and the future of this country. And it's ironic. It is ironic. Very ironic, because these useful idiots, which I will call them that to their face, you are a useful idiot. To me, you're a useless idiot, but whatever. That term sticks, the useful idiot. That's not my term. That's actually the subversives term, the higher up subversives, the cult leaders, communist cult leaders. They have that plan. That's their game plan. And convincing the useful idiots that they're actually useful idiots, and that their fate is to wound up in a shallow grave, mass grave somewhere after they win. That's their future. That's what they have. They are trying to usher in the fascist, demonic, tyrannical regime that they hate, that they accuse us of being, that they accuse the world of being, in all the Western free societies. And they'll say anything. Well, you have to be acceptable. You have to be accepting. Well, see, that's they engage in a lot of doublespeak, right? Yeah, accepting. I have to accept their dominance by accepting their mental disorders. Oh, you gotta let these guys from Somalia in. You know, they're disenfranchised and they have nothing. A third world country, and you know you have to be accepting of their traditions and cultures and you know all that bullshit. What's wrong with you? Why are you not accepting? You have to accept, damn it. Acceptance. And that's where they start to guilt trip you with their rhetoric. And then blame you. And point the finger at you. And accuse you. The Inquisition. No one expects the Communist Inquisition. There it is. And for the most part, we just blow them off. You're like, whatever, you're an idiot. Fuck, you're stupid. Why am I listening to you? And we walk away. You know? We just like, yeah, I don't want to hear this stupidity. This is stupid. You guys are idiots. I got better shit to do. I mean, there are some that sit there and argue with it, and you see what happens. It turns into violence most of the time. They want the violence. They expect the violence. They're extremely paranoid too. Extremely paranoid. They believe that we are actively hunting and seeking them. No, the majority of us just want you to fucking go away. Go away. Shut up. I'm gonna take my kids elsewhere. If you know, get the fuck out of the girls' bathroom. What the fuck are you doing? No, you can't compete in women's sports. You're not a woman. I mean, it's just the rhetoric, the ideology. It's stupidity. And it has no intellectual standing. There is no philosophy that they can quote, that they can engage in to convince me otherwise. There's just no way. Their speaking points get destroyed when you add critical thinking. You know, when you add objectivity into the conversation. All right, I'm almost home. I think I've beat a dead horse here. Yep, the victimhood, the blaming, the accusations, the inquisition. That's their tools. Lies and deceit. Lies and manipulation. It's all they have. And if it doesn't work, they try to resort to violence. They try to incite violence out of us. Out of the critical thinking. But here in this country, we reserve the right to do violence against someone that's threatening us. I mean, that's, violence is authorized. Oh, you're threatening me. You're actually going to threaten. Okay, well, I'm going to try to leave. Oh, you're going to prevent me from leaving. Okay, you have chosen violence. I now have to resort to violence. They can lie. They can paint it any way they wish, because that's the other part of it too, is what happens afterwards. The narrative. The absolute narrative. It has to be changed. And if there's like 50 of 60 of them in Black Bloc, they're all gonna lie and say that you came out of nowhere with a MAGA Trump hat, and you smashed one of them in the face and called him a famagot. In all reality, they cornered you and threatened you and blamed you and started accusing and then threatened violence, if not did violence, because nobody can see them, right? Nobody can see the violence being done to you because they have you completely surrounded. Umbrellas and shit, right? So now they get to control the narrative, and it works towards their cause, and they can work on that narrative and claim victimhood. It's the biggest weapon they have, victimhood. And they can gain more allies, they can gain more recruits, gain more useful idiots. I mean, yeah. How do you fight it? You fight it. We fight it with our words too. Okay? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm a peaceful person. Really, I am. Fuck you doing, bro? Fuck out of the street. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't engage in violence. And I'm a gentleman in public. I conduct myself accordingly. When faced with opposition and strife, I practice patience, tolerance, and humility, mercy, compassion, and understanding. If that doesn't work, I'm kicking ass. I tried everything. Don't perceive my kindness as weakness. Because we're all capable of extreme violence. Ultra violence, even. We all are. Apex predators of the world. 5-year-old with a knife is a dangerous thing. Five 5-year-old knives. 5 5-year-olds with knives can kill you. Okay, so yeah. So the victimhood mentality doesn't work. And it doesn't justify violence against people, against me. Right? And if that happens, then oh well. I'm not walking walking on eggshells. I mean, we all do to a certain extent, just out of I don't know, congeniality. I don't know. We don't want to be insulting all the time. But if we are, we usually keep to ourselves. I don't know. So with that being said, I guess it's important to understand their tactics, right? Especially on social media. That's the only voice they have, really. In the wilds, they're cowards. They're gonna be like, oh my god, oh no, oh my god. They're gonna run away when you show your strength. It's just gonna happen. You know, they're not gonna fight you. They might. You might get in a heated conversation, argument at the bar. You might. It's possible. You know, if they got their friends there. But, you know, in society, you're not going to win any kind of, you know, arguments. Maybe somebody says something and you shut them down quickly. So that's how I've always done it. Yeah, well, fuck you. Do what I want. Welcome to America. I do what I want. You do what you can. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Now keep it stepping. You know? Most of the time I'm armed. And I don't want to, you know, engage in that. I'm trying to be responsible here. You know what I'm saying? I really don't want to hurt nobody. I really don't. Actually, I really do. I don't mind. Mind over matter. You don't mind, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go here. Yeah. But you know, they're not going to incite me into violence. I'm too smart for that. Way too smart for that. Nor am I going to put myself in that position where it's their word against mine, and I do violence and catch a case. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's possible. They could try to manipulate it. But if they're going to have an argument with me, then okay, let's have an intelligible debate. Or whatever, a debate. It's not a debate. They don't know how to debate. They don't know. The only thing they have is insults and injury. That's all. That's their rhetoric. And they have no intelligible points. It is ironic and hypocrisy. Because they're fighting for the exact same thing that they're accusing us of doing. That's my point. So, thank you all for hanging out with me for Zoot Report. Ironic Zoot Report, Sunroof edition. The ironic hypocrisy rhetoric of the subversive. Part 2. Part 2. Fuck you. I got the right of way, bitch. Oh, maybe I don't. Uh-oh. Oh, well. I gotta go. Let me get on down the road and get out of the way here. So thank you all for hanging out with me as I break many traffic laws. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law. And yeah, we will talk again, I guess. Yeah, we will talk again. So thank you all for hanging out with me. on this beautiful Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday, and yeah, let's get back to work, shall we? Doing the things. Thank you all. This has been Mad Shad. Let's go.